I'm very pleased to be joined by Carmelo Orlando, who is joining us by Zoom from Italy, where he has been involved very heavily in the coronavirus response. And before that, he was involved in crisis response as well. 10 years ago, he did the volunteer national service, Servizio Civile, which is something that Italy does extremely well. People get to volunteer to do national service, including in emergency response, which is what Carmelo did, and he then participated or played a crucial role in the earthquake that he will tell us more about. So, Carmelo, thank you very much for joining us. And can you tell us how you're doing? We are doing this interview by Zoom, and I assume you are at home at the moment.
Yeah. I'm at home just because I'm working in smart working. We are everyone in lockdown in Italy. Now we can start our activity from my home.
Yeah. Can you tell me about what you have been doing during the coronavirus outbreak? So you work for the Protezione Civile, which is of course the civil emergencies agency. So can you tell us what you've been doing since the coronavirus outbreak began?
Now I'm working in a contact center specialist. So I work about the data, big data of coronavirus. And after I'm looking for an information on the world about this emergency, and I'm putting in my department, and they give me a feedback of this data. I update on the map on the site of the Civil Protection Department. So every day I'm looking for a data by a regional data from the north of Italy, from the south of Italy, and we put in all big data for my department. This one is my first application. The second one is to reply to mail. The citizen sometimes ask an information. Can I do this? Can I work? Can I move myself from here to here? And I reply for my department.
And when you say data, that means the number of infections and the number of fatalities.
Yes, I received this data from the region of Italy, just because the public health in Italy is divided by the region. And every region, every day, give us the day data, our local data. And I put this data in a big, like in a big data. And so I work for this. I put the data on my software.
And fortunately now, after a number of weeks of very high numbers of infections and very high numbers of fatalities, fortunately the numbers are going down. And so what have you seen? What are the most recent figures you have put into the system?
But I don't know about this. It's really hard to reply. Just because, so for me, and I think for the Italian system, this one is the first emergency like this. I can remember on my study and in my past, I can remember an emergency like this. I work for the earthquake, sometimes for the volcanic risk, and analyze the data about this. I know what are you do for the emergency like an earthquake. But like a pandemic, it was it's hard, and sometimes I don't do what are you doing. I don't do if the choice are okay or bad choice. It's really hard. Now I know just this. It's hard in this moment in Italy, and I think in all over the world.
Yeah, and now Italy is turning a corner, and so I just want to say to everybody who's listening to this, when you hear those numbers from Italy, most likely at some point they've passed through Carmelo's computer. So that's something that's actually more evidence of how the Protezione Civile plays a vital role in the coronavirus response. They are the ones that not just are out in the front lines helping victims of whatever the disaster is, but actually collecting all the information about it. So Carmelo, I wanted to talk about your previous experience with the earthquake. So the reason you got into that was that you did the Servizio Civile. So if we start with the Servizio Civile, why did you do it? And for our viewers, could you tell them very briefly what the Servizio Civile is?
Oh, I was really young 10 years ago. I have just 22 years old. And for me, it's not like a first experience in work in earthquake management. Just because I was born in a small town in south of Italy, and there was an earthquake when I was really young. For me, as a citizen, I was born with an earthquake during the period. At 23 years old, so during my national civil service, I was a little bit lucky, just because during my period, my first project, it was about the wild incendi boschivi, wildfire. It's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. But after 3 months, we will start a project. It's happened the earthquake in L'Aquila. It's okay. And now what are you doing? My project manager of during my period is okay. You will go in L'Aquila. Okay, I'm go to L'Aquila. And after it starts the big experience of my life. I was 10 months in L'Aquila. My first period in a small town, Navelli, so I work with the other volunteer for the camp for the people. The first period, so first 2 weeks, something like this. After I start the essential activity, so like food, a management of food, of water, of essential service. 10 years ago, we don't have a lot of internet connection. We don't use a smartphone, but we use the phone. And I think about the link by phone with the other small municipality in L'Aquila. After 3 months, I moved myself from Navelli to L'Aquila. Is the epicenter. There was the DICOMAC, like a LEMA for management activity. And during this period, I have worked for the G8 meeting. It was the first meeting. There was an Obama, USA president. It was Obama. It's really big experience, because so you think about 8 people, the best people in the world, in a town. In this town, during this period, it was an earthquake.
Yeah,
it was really hard, but really interesting. After 10 years, I was here. I'm continuous to work for Italian Civil Department. I work for in a private company, so an engineering. I'm like this, but I work for my department after 10 years, and now I manage the coronavirus.
Which again illustrates how important it is for countries to train people at a young age in various aspects of national security, because at some point they will become an invaluable resource, which I think your career illustrates. So first the volunteer national service in disaster response, then the earthquake, and now the coronavirus. And we should add for those watching this video that you'll be speaking at our next conference on the 21st of October, when we'll also have other feature other programs where countries train young people to a very high level of expertise in national security skills, ranging from disaster response to armed forces skills. So Thank you very much, Carmelo, for taking the time today, and congratulations to Italy for having turned the corner on coronavirus. And I think it's the second or third day now with decreasing fatality figures. So congratulations to Italy and to you.